To get unlimited unthrottled data, hotspot data, on this Nighthawk M5, you are going to have to go through 3 steps. There's 3 things you have to do to change your data that you use on this hotspot from hotspot data to cell phone data, so you don't burn through your hotspot data. This is going to enable you to have unlimited data so long as you have an unlimited data plan. And so those 3 things that you have to change to make this happen is your IMEI. You have to change that to an IMEI number that is supported by your carrier, meaning if the IMEI belongs to an iPhone 12, since iPhone 12 is 5G, and you want 5G enabled on this hotspot, you might want to go with the iPhone 12 IMEI and higher, or and your APN settings. This will be specific to your carrier, so you want to look up whatever those settings are for your carrier that enables you to have unthrottled hotspot data. And the third thing is your TTL value. You want to change your TTL value to 64, since this is your primary internet source. To start, you want to take your SIM card out and your battery on the Nighthawk M5. So that is what I have done. On the Nighthawk M6, you want to take your SIM card out, but leave the battery in, because you cannot start this Nighthawk M6 up without the battery. That's just the way it works. Once you have removed your SIM card and battery for the Nighthawk M5, you want to connect it to USB like I have here, and it will power up, and you will have no internet because this will be your primary network interface. What I have done, I'm going to Brave, or whatever browser that you use, 192.168.1.1. This is my IP address for the router. And of course I'll sign in. And I'll go to settings, and we can take note that my IMEI is this. I will be changing it. And so data offloading, I have enabled data offloading over Ethernet so that I can get internet while I have this device connected. And so the first thing I want to do is make sure that I have the telnet port open on this device. So I'll go to terminal, and I can do that with the nmap tool, but I don't have the nmap tool installed right now, I believe. Actually, maybe I do. Nmap. I do not have nmap. Okay, so I could do brew, install, nmap. By the way, if you're using a Mac and you don't have the brew package manager, you might want to install that. You can just go brew.sh and copy this and paste that to your terminal, and that will install Homebrew, so you can install other packages. Alright, so I'm installing this nmap tool. App has installed, and I'm going to check my device to see what ports are open. So sudo nmap 192.168.1.1. Alright, so I have port 23, which is telnet. That is what we want, so that we can telnet into this thing. Also, we have port 5510. That's also another important port so that we can communicate to the modem chip on this device. And I've also enabled SSH, but by default you do not have SSH. So the next step is getting the tool that will change your IMEI number. This is M5 restore, and that should come up with the GitHub page. There we are. So I will grab that. I'll go back to my terminal. We'll make a directory to clone that to. Alright, so git clone. I'm going to clone that to my computer. Alright, code. Alright, so I'm using Visual Studio Code to help me along with this process. So the first thing I want to do, since this is a Python project, is create a Python virtual environment. If you don't have Python, this would be the time to install Python. So my Python version is, okay, so I have Python 3. So this is my Python version that I have. You can see that it is available. So let's see. Alright. Python 3, V, E, and V. Sorry, there's a dash M in there. Alright, so I've created my virtual environment, and this is going to hold all of my dependencies that are needed for this. And I'm going to have to try this a few times. So my E and V, bin, I believe there's a bin in there. There we are. Since I'm on Mac, I'm going to use this activate binary, but if you're on Windows, you would use maybe the PowerShell. I think you also could use another binary in here, but I'm going to do, let's see, activate, and now I have this text here indicating that I am in my Python virtual environment. There's a few tools that I need to install for this to work. So I'm going to do pip install. This is going to be serial.tool and run. Alright, and so at this point I can change my IMEI number. So I'm going to go to Brave, IMEI generator. Let's try this site. I think I would like to generate an iPhone 12, so I'm going to see if this one lets me do it. So Apple, iPhone 12, generate, and I'll just go with this one. Okay, so I'll do my Python M5, and I'm just going to throw my number in there, hit enter. And what that should do is change my IMEI number. We can see that my IMEI number is this here, and I'm changing it to this. And so once this finishes, it's going to reboot the router. So IMEI restored, rebooting router. And once that finishes, we should see that this IMEI number has changed, or has rebooted, and we see that the IMEI number has changed. So the next step would be setting up the TTL. We're going to set the TTL to 64. So, alright, so telnet 192.168.1.1 and port 22, or no, it's 23. Okay, maybe I don't have telnet. Brew, install, telnet. Alright, so I'll try that again. Awesome. Get into the device, I'm going to create the script file, and I'm going to create that in user sbin. It's going to be set-ttl.sh, and then I'm going to make that executable. So chmod +x. So now if I ls user sbin, I can see, where is it? Our script is right here. It's in green, so we can execute it. Alright, so now I'm going to open that. I for to begin typing. I press I, and we have to start with our header. So that's the hash exclamation, and this is going to be bin/bash. Alright, and we're going to use iptables to manipulate the packet data to set the TTL value. So iptables -t for the mangle table, and -i because we're inserting into the post routing rule, and we are going for TTL, so TTL, it's going to be TTL set, need 2 dashes there, and set 64. So let me just copy this, because I'm going to do this again for a pre-routing. Okay, I'm just going to, that's not right. Okay, so I'm going to go set this to pre-routing. Okay. iptables, mangle table, post routing, set. Okay, that's good. Alright, now we need to create our service file, and so okay, I'll go ahead and do that. So touch etc systemd system and set ttl.service. Alright, so let me skip ahead and I'll be back. So I have typed in all of this and I skipped ahead because it was kind of lengthy, but basically I just gave the unit a description. I tell it to start after multi-user, and I am executing my script, which I put at user sbin set-ttl.sh. It's a simple service and wanted by multi-user, so that's good. So I'm going to escape :WQ, and I have written that. Now I need to reload my system service, so systemctl daemon reload. Okay, and just to make sure it's there, there's actually going to be quite a few of these, so I'll grep that down. Okay, well, I've already enabled this, but anyways, I'll show you all how to do that. Systemctl, I'm going to start my service, and then I want to check if it completed successfully. So status, it says exited success. Okay, and then I'm going to check my IP tables to make sure the rule was inserted. Okay, yes, I see this rule was added for set to 64. And then I'm going to do the same for pre-routing. And yes, I see that successfully got executed also. Starting my service worked. Now what I need to do is enable this on reboot. So system CTL enable set TTL, and of course I've already done this, but I'll show that it is enabled. Yes, it says it's loaded. There we go, enabled. And so, okay, now we have set up TTL. The next step is to change the APN. So I'm gonna search for my APN file because I don't really remember where that was. So find dot name. This is going to be APN, something that contains APN. So I am searching for any file that contains APN, and I know that it's going to be one of these files. It's been a few weeks since I've done this. So let me see, VI, I'm going to try this one. Alright, I don't think it was that file. But pretty much what I'm going for is looking anywhere where I could find my APN settings that are not provided in the admin panel for this router, and I'm trying to change the APN type. Let's see. Expand this out. Okay, so I see here we have our APNs. We have some settings we don't have in the admin panel. For example, if I go to the admin panel, okay, so yeah, I don't have a SIM card in here, so I do not have any options for APN. So whenever you have your SIM card inserted, you'll have your APN settings, but there's some settings you will not have access to. Some very important ones like the APN type. Usually you'll have to add a DUN in here. And let's see. Yes, down here for Cricket NDO, I had to add the APN name of NDO to get unlimited unthrottled data on Cricket, and also I had to add DUN to the end of this. So it looks like this is the most important file, this APN-cache.xml. But let me close out of this. And I see we have other files down here. It looks like these are our these are some variables that are important. See if I can find Cricket. I don't see it, but if you have your carrier in here, I think I would add the your whatever you need to get unlimited unthrottled hotspot data. Your carrier will have different settings, so this really just depends on your carrier, what settings you use. You could search that on the internet. This doesn't look like anything, but if you have settings here, just make sure you add them. And that's it. Once you set your TTL value to 64, you configure your APN settings, which I have shown where your APN settings can be found, to configure those advanced settings that you're not allowed to change in the admin panel. And this is also how you change your IMEI number. This is to be allowed to use the data plan that your carrier offers. If you have unlimited premium data with T-Mobile, like their Magenta Max plan, you would just make sure you have a 5G phone, IMEI, that is compatible with that. And same with Verizon and ATT and any MVNO. Just make sure you configure those three things, the IMEI, APN, TTL, and you will have unlimited unthrottled internet, hotspot data, and that's it.